Hello, you should actually be able to hear me now. I once again forgot to check on my microphone before I went live. Sorry about that. Let's get that adjusted. Today I'm an octopus. You might notice that first of all, this was made for me by the lovely itswuf. In chat, please send him all the love. He spent months working on this. Some of you may have seen parts of this come together on the Flutter Die crafting streams that we did. It's done. It's here. It's with me. I tried to curl the tentacles a bit more in the mirror before I came on, but they're all fabulous. It's completely fabulous. I don't know if I'll stay in camera if I spin around, but I'll try. You guys will have to let me know if you were able to see that or if I was completely off camera for that. But yeah, this was made for me by Woof. I found the pattern online. I chose the colors. So I wanted a blue and yellow octopus. And he made this from scratch with his bare hands, from yarn. So don't panic. I did turn off the ears and the hat redeem for today only. I do not want to stack hats. First of all, I'm going to have to put my headphones on underneath this. And second of all, I don't want to be stacking a bunch of stuff on top of it because it's very precious, it's handmade, I don't want to damage it. So this is going to become a channel redeem. There's going to be a channel redeem for me to put on the octopus hat. And also there's going to be a channel redeem for me to put on the octopus hat and talk like Scion Striker, my character in the Game of Tomes verse. So those are going to become channel redeems starting next week. But today, because Wolf worked so hard on this hat, I'm going to be wearing this hat for the entire stream. I'm doing this from beginning to end. I will have to take it off to put my headphones on and take them off for breaks. But yeah, that's happening today. Today I shall be an octopus. And now I have to say hey to everybody. Hey, Lomi, welcome in. It is clacking time. Exiled Fae, let me know if you want me to hold up any of those day planners that I mentioned. You can see them behind me. If you want a closer look at any of the ones that I have, please let me know. Get coffee or snacks. You should get either or both of those things. I need Megan to say Domeran's surname so I know how to say it. Exiled Fae, are you here? Give me a heyo in chat, and I will say his name, so that, his full name, so that you know what it is, or at least his full name as he goes by. The hat! Alright, it is Domeran Lorecasp, is that surname. Lorecasp. Apple, hello. It is awesome, right? He spent so much time on this. The hat is hilarious and mostly visible. Nice. Yeah, there's a whole like body part of the hat as well. Like some people had it with the pattern where they would have the eyes facing backwards. So if you were standing behind the person, it would look like there was an octopus on their head. But I wanted the eyes facing forward because I wanted this to be a channel redeem. And I wanted you guys to see the hat in all its glory. Good thing I got over 40k points waiting. Yeah, this is gonna be a channel points redeem for the foreseeable future. But like I said, today I felt like it's here, it's newly arrived. Wolf spent so much time working on it. I can't, sometimes the tentacles don't want to stay entirely curled, but you can see how they curl so nicely. After the convo last night in Joe's chat, the hat is strangely appropriate. Yeah, well now you guys can see why I was saying yay tentacles the whole time. Already placed my order after I saw your pictures. Nice! Which one did you pick? Exiled Fae. I'm so excited that you're getting a legend planner. Do the full name he does not go by. All right. So some people know and some people don't that Damarin is not actually the full version of Damarin's name because he's an elf. And elves in, at least in the Aruvalia Chronicles universe, have stupidly long names because their parents all give them... So the way that elves name themselves is they take half the mother's name and half the father's name and they smush them together to create a new name. And so after a couple of generations, their names just get stupidly long and complicated. So, it's close with Damarin's full name is Demirianin, but he has a visceral level of hatred, to that name. He does not like to be called that. He goes by Damarin, the shortened version of his name, and he hates it if you call him by the full version of his name. So there you go. I have trouble with double consonants, but it sounds good when you say it. Well, thank you. I always try, when the books first come out, at least, to do a stream where I pronounce a bunch of the names. And I guess Lorcasp is a pretty strange one, but, you know, elf name. It becomes an issue. If it becomes an issue, you could probably put a wire through it. I mean, no, it's totally fine. I like the idea that it's not necessarily always the same when I put it on. I just want people to be able to see, like, how cool it is. And there are more tentacles as well to the back. So yeah. So there you go. Ended up getting the wine red. I'm insanely jealous, Exiled Fae, because I really, really want that one. And every time I find it in Canada, it's marked up to like $80. And it's like, I know how expensive these are supposed to be. I know that people are marking them up because sellers import them to sell on Amazon. So I wait for someone to have one that isn't insanely marked up, and I just haven't found a red one yet. It's not. It's just because there's a limited supply. I don't know, honestly. I've not tried to order them from the Legend website and pay for international shipping because we have Prime, right? So if I can find one for $30 on Amazon, I can get the shipping for free. And I know that once you do the conversion, it's $30, right? So I just kind of wait. I have my purple one for this year, and I have the periwinkle one is for next year. I'm knocking everything over on my desk. And then the Mystic Blue one is going to be for 2025, and I have an eggshell one hidden away in my desk that is going to be for 2026. And if I can find a wine red one by 2027, then I can have one for 2027. I have a lot of these planners. I like them, so when I can get them, I stock up on them because someday they won't make them anymore and it'll be hard for me to get them. And they're undated, so I can just use them whenever I want. I need to read back through my writing today. I forgot to put a knife in my character's pants brows, so it would be super awkward for her to just pull it out now. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that I usually just have them pull out the knife randomly in a first draft and then go back and put the knife in during edits. But if you're editing, then that would be a good idea. Knife Pants Spot is the name of my medieval techno band. I mean, really, shouldn't every character have a knife in their pants? Shouldn't you just assume that they have a knife in their pants? Sorry guys, I gotta blow my nose. Oh my goodness. No, I kid, but it is the kind of thing, that is the kind of thing where if your character does pull something out of a pocket or like out of a pouch, or if a character conveniently has something like a knife on them when they need it, you should probably make mention of it at some point earlier in the story. Otherwise, it'll be like, wait, where did that knife come from? Are these knife pants? Did they come with a knife? All right, let me settle in for the actual clicky-clacky part. 56k words in, and she has never touched a weapon, so explaining how it got there is mildly important. Makes sense. Sawston Labs, hello. Chekhov's knife. Exactly. Oh my goodness. Just gotta get my lumbar pillow in the right spot. Luckily, this is it's pretty good on my head, so I don't think it's gonna, like, go flying off, which is good. I gotta extract my iPad without knocking over everything on the desk, like I did yesterday. Oh my god. I'm so glad you guys are so patient with me, because yesterday was, like, a total disaster stream. Sawston Labs, how are you? What is up? Welcome to the stream. We're about to do some productivity sprints. I just need to get a few extra things set up on my desk now that we have talked about how glorious the hat is. Also, I just need to get my blanket and my hand socks so I don't freeze, you know, as you do. Also, I can't stress enough, this hat is super comfortable. It's not, the yarn isn't at all scratchy. It's super soft. It's not heavy. I thought it would be heavier, because there's a lot of, I know a lot of yarn went into this. I know quite a bit of yarn went into the making of this, and I thought it would be super heavy. But it's actually not. It's very comfortable. And I was honestly just tempted to, like, curl up at my desk last night and just wear this. So I'm very, very happy with it. I can't say thank you enough, Woof. I really, really appreciate you making this for me. I know I just randomly out of nowhere threw a pattern at you and was like, can you make this, OMG? But you did, and it's amazing, and it's even more amazing than I thought it was going to be. So thank you so much. I did hold up the horse yesterday to do an update, but I don't know if you saw it, so I will make sure that you see. I'm almost done with the second stage of the horse. So I'm about to take a break on it and finish the the final stage of Belle and the Beast. But yeah, if you are around during the break later, I will hold up Butt Stallion again so that you can see her. Butt Stallion the mare, so that you can see her and see how she's doing. I guess it could be a stallion. I mean, alright, I have to very briefly remove the octopus. Don't panic. We're still an octopus. Just so I can get my headphones on here. And I'm pretty sure that it's big enough. Look at that! I just have to make sure it's like, look at that! It fits so perfectly over my headphones. Wolf was all worried when he was making it. He was like, I think I have a huge head, and I don't think it'll fit you. And it's perfect! Look at it! I'm so happy. Alright. Alright, now I just gotta find my spot. I believe I am starting a new chapter today. It's all tiny for you guys, but I have to know where I actually am. Now I I made an outline for this novel, and then over the weekend, I sort of went back through the outline and changed the order I had a few things happening in. Because the way I tend to organize my outlines for my novels is more, this is what's happening with this character, this is what's happening with that character. But it's better when you're actually putting the novel together to break up. So basically, if one set of characters gets into peril, it's a good idea to have a chapter break and switch to another set of characters for a little while and show what they're up to. So that increases the tension a little bit of the peril that the characters have encountered. So when I write my outlines, I very often have peril and resolution side by side. So I basically went through and found a bunch of places where I had done that in my outline, just because that was how I was sort of grouping my thoughts. And I broke them up a bit so that I am cutting away from a couple different characters while they're in peril. You're welcome. So I just have to peek at my outline because I did change the order that I was expecting things to happen in. And I think we're writing from Rose's perspective today. The only thing I do have to be a little bit careful about is I don't want to accidentally, like, dip a tentacle in my coffee. I don't want to be like, oh, that was a tentacle going directly into my coffee. Wolf worked really hard on this, so I don't want to spill or stain it on the first day. Angel Faye, hello! How are you? What is up? What are you up to, my friend? I am Octopus today. Thank you! Itswuf in the chat made it for me, and I'm super excited about it. You guys probably already know, considering that I have 2 octopus emotes that, like, and I've got not an octopus, but a squid in the background saying, I believe in you. So you guys probably already know how I feel about tentacle creatures. Also, if I forgot to ask how anyone's doing, how y'all doing? Wolf, Senator, I assume Senator is work lurking, but no big deal. Rune Wolf, how are you? Exiled Faye, how are you? How is everybody? Please let me know. I am going to start that sprint timer here in a moment and just go off to the races, but please let me know how you're doing. On a lunch break, always good, always good. I hope you're having a delicious and yummy lunch. Yeah, he knocked it out of the park. I know, I don't know, for anyone who watched the streams, Wolf stressed a lot about, like, how the final hat was gonna look, but it's perfect. I'm so happy with it, and it's so comfortable. And I can move around in it pretty well too, even with my headphones over it. Tired but great editing, Captain Anne's Revenge. Nice! Rune Wolf, that sounds great. We good? Gonna sprint with you? Yes! Exiled Faye, I am excited. Angel Faye, tired? I know it's much later where you are than it is here, so I hope you've had a good day. Caternator, hello! Making pumpkin soup! I love pumpkin soup. And trying to finish a work project. Ready for the clicky clackies in the background. I am glad to provide the excellent background. Let me just put my rings on, because I just realized I have not done that yet. And we are gonna do 20 minutes. I am on this scene. I'm actually not on a new chapter. I'm on a second scene, so I just need to grab myself a chapter break. So I've got my spacing. All right. I am going to hit that button. chair's not in the right spot. I've written like 12 words. I don't know how you do that so quick. A lot of practice. A lot of practice. Also, I can't guarantee there's any quality in any of these words. They are simply words. It just took me like 4 tries to type of. In case you ever have a moment where you're like, does my brain work properly? I just typed FOF like 4 times. Describing a new location from scratch. This will be a problem for future me. Exiled Fae, I am in your same camp. I always am like, they go to the place, and then I leave a note in my editing notes. Describe the place. I'm describing the place as word vomit. Hey, at least you're giving it a try, right? I usually don't get much description in my first drafts. It's something I'm trying to work on, but sometimes I just get so caught up in what's happening that I forget. Mustang, hello, hello. Thank you so much for the raid. What is up, my friend? Playing Animal Crossing today. How was Animal Crossing? Did some writing on my Pinocchio project. Nice! Cross the 10K word threshold. That's a big one. Mustang, congrats. I was just about to ask how that project was going. What do you think of the hat? Break time. Now I'm on a tangent looking up crystals. Ooh, Exiled Fae, what type of crystals are you looking up? I did not make it, but the lovely itswuf did make it for me. I picked the colors. So I picked, you can't quite tell with it on camera, but so this was all from the same, like, skein of yarn. It was a yarn that, like, shifts colors. So I picked this blue and yellow theme colors, and Woof made it, and it's amazing. I love it. But I'm trying to figure out how to describe the different shapes of crystals. Ooh, is it like a particular type of crystal? Is it like geode? Is it like quartz? Is it like diamond? Had to look up something about bricks once and it devolved into 2 days of research. Be careful out there. Indeed. I have done that thing where it's like, I need to look something up, and I spend 2 hours looking up information, and then I write like 2 sentences, and I'm like, done. I think that is the eternal trouble for writers, is like, I gotta know everything. This sentence has to be perfect. I know, right? I have an entire OneNote of, like, details that I have very carefully arranged that are probably never gonna make it. Let's be honest. They're probably never gonna make it into actual novels. This is the pain and the suffering of writers. And this probably happened when you were doing the brick research. You start researching one thing, and it's like the gateway to, oh, this is also interesting. I should look at this because it might be useful later. Oh, I also didn't know this. Maybe I should look more into that. And suddenly, you're looking up ships from the Age of Sail, and they're not even in your book. So yeah, absolutely. Be careful out there. Let someone know that you're about to do research so that they can drop you a rope and some care packages. Have an exit strategy ready. It all somehow gets used subconsciously. That's the thing, right? As a writer. So I read this book when I was younger. This is a tangent, I know, but it's worth it. I read this book when I was younger. It was called The Horse Master, which actually Wolf helped me find in adulthood, because all I could remember about it was that it was brown and had a horse on the cover and a tapestry in it. But there was a character in there who was a thief, and one of the things that he says to the main character is that, I know, Wolf is a magical librarian unicorn, and I once told him that I read a book that was brown with a horse on the cover and a tapestry in it, and he helped me find it. That was a true story. And there's a character in there who's a thief, and he explains to the main character that as a thief, he needs to know a lot, or a little about a lot of things. Like, he needs to know just enough about a whole bunch of different things that he can do them or convince people that he knows how to do them, because that's the lot of a thief. And I've always thought It's the same for writers. No information is ever wasted. Everything that you learn, every information that you come into contact with could at some point in time be useful, no matter how random it seems. I have always felt like I am, not to like toot my own horn or anything, but I have always felt like I'm particularly good at writing hackers because I actually went to school for IT networking and I actually took classes where we learned how to hack. So I actually know what the process of hacking looks like. It's not what you see on TV 90% of the time. It's not some fancy program and that like gets in there and makes the computer screen do all kinds of weird funky things. It's code. It's solid code. It's understanding how programming works. It's you know, really actually boring. Typing really fast. So I feel like I'm particularly good at writing hackers in a realistic fashion because I actually know how that works. And of course I embellish and I make it a little bit exciting because they want it to be exciting. Yeah, oh yeah, absolutely. Dim the lights, put on the neon 80s, you know, themed music. Absolutely. But if you get two people typing really fast on the same keyboard, it works too. I saw it on NCIS. Right? So yeah, it's not like I don't embellish it, but I feel like I have a good base from which to start. And so I've always felt like when I write something, sometimes, because like, I don't know that much about the military, y'all, I'm gonna be honest, but I have a character who is essentially the magical FBI. So he does a lot of, you know, there's a lot of shooting and a lot of stealth missions, and I don't know about that, so I try to get a base foundation of what feels reasonably realistic to build off of. And so as writers, we need to know a little about a lot, and nothing is ever wasted. So if you fall down a rabbit hole and you research a little bit about 13 different topics, sooner or later, you're going to actually use all 13 of those things. Because one day you'll just be typing and you'll be like, oh, I looked up something about this, I'm going to write it down now. And it's helpful, but man, it can be hard. Like, it can be hard to just not spend your whole life just learning about things. Not just info, but event, situations, conversation is all fodder. Exactly. It's all inspiration. You want to strike a balance between realism and excitement. Exactly. We know archaeology is nothing like Indiana Jones, but real archaeology doesn't make great movies. Exactly. It's easy to excuse a day of watching YouTube as research. It is! So is. And honestly, I usually plan, like, time into... So the way I tend to do things, and again, everyone's mileage may vary. You don't have to do things my way at all. But the way I tend to do things is I write my outline, and then if I know that I need to do research on something based on my outline, I'll take time in my prep stage to do that research. And I tend to only do a little bit of research in my outline phase, and then I do my rough draft because that really, really reveals to me where I'm insecure about information. And then in between my first draft and my second draft is where I tend to go and do a bunch of that research. How does this work? How can I make this feel more realistic? When I wrote The Celestial Serenade, which has a very prominent character who is an artificial intelligence, I spent a lot of time talking to our friend who we refer to on stream as Mr. Roboto, he actually went to school and studied how to create AIs. Like, he knows how AIs are trained. He took a master's class, he has a degree in it, and he was able to tell me, like, this is how, in the current day, this is how we train AIs, these are the types of AIs, this is how machine learning actually works. And then I could translate that information into what felt like... Obviously, the AI that I was creating is a way more advanced type of AI than we have today, because I was trying to create actual intelligence. But the idea behind this character was that they started out as simulated intelligence. They weren't necessarily designed to become an artificial intelligence, but they did over time because of the way that they gathered information and stored it. And so they eventually essentially gained sentience. So having that information about how machine learning works now allowed me to bridge that gap in what felt like a realistic way. And he has since read those books and enjoyed those books, which makes me happy. I just gotta blow my nose here, guys. Sorry. I did an AI story and all I had was half a dozen YouTube videos. It's a very interesting and complex topic. I will say, if you guys ever have questions that you think, if you've heard me talk about Mr. Roboto and you're like, oh, I wish I could ask him a question about, blah, blah, let me know in the Discord, because I talk to him fairly regularly and I can be like, oh, hey, I like how in Mass Effect games they make a distinction between AI and VI, virtual intelligence. They've outlawed AI but use VI, which is similar to what we have as AI nowadays. Yeah, exactly. The Kalterans have something similar in my Celestial Serenade. Also, thank you for the follow, Sawston Labs. Let me know if I'm saying your name incorrectly. You can always correct me if I'm not saying it right. I'm bad with names. But thank you so much for the follow. Yeah, it's kind of the same in the Kalteran Empire. They have outlawed AIs, in part because they think that having artificial intelligence that runs everything will basically encourage them to become basically like the society in WALL-E, like where nobody does anything and nobody thinks and nobody's intellectual anymore. So they've outlawed AIs, but they have very rudimentary artificial systems that help them run their computers, like the computer in Star Trek, where you can basically be like, hey, computer, tell me about what happened on this day 300 years ago, and the computer will spit out information. Oh, thank you, Sawston Labs. That means a lot to me. I'm mostly just here to help out, to give people a cool, safe, chill space, and to talk writing shop in between. And if you ever are looking for some inspiration or asking some questions, I'll do my best to help. Chat is very good at giving advice. Last week, I think it was, we helped Rune Wolf come up with a title for their series, which I'm really excited about, because my husband Ghost Pepper came in here with his history nerdery and was able to help us out with that. So yeah, totally. We also have, I don't know if you're on Discord, but we also have a Discord. I share this with my husband, so don't panic that it says the Pepper Patch. That's my husband Ghost Pepper. We have a writing section there. If you have any questions or whatever, and I'm not streaming, you can always pop in there. Everyone's pretty helpful and encouraging and whatnot. And yeah, that's what I'm here for. Probably gonna take, I never looked at how many words I did that sprint. I'm probably gonna take a quick break and then come back and do some more clicky clackies. I have to, even though I have a coffee warmer, I have to heat up my coffee because my taste buds are weird right now. And my coffee has gotten cold enough that it's starting to lose taste. So I will do that. But it looks like I got, on that sprint, 1,173 words. I'm decently happy with that. Little over 1,100 so far today, Harjamino. I'm hoping to do probably about 3,000 in this scene, and then I will probably, if I don't yammer too much, which I know, I have a habit of doing, I'll hopefully do about 1,000 words of a second scene before we wrap up for lunch. 229 in the last sprint. That's awesome, Exiled Fae. Do not be hard on yourself. I know that you are just coming back to writing after struggling with it, so that is an amazing amount. 229. You should be very proud of yourself, Exile Faye. Hargemino, that's awesome. 1,198. Was that during the sprint, or was that before you popped around? It doesn't matter either way, but that's awesome. Any amount of words is a win. I just want you guys to know, like, if you're seeing me tippy-tap typing away here and you're like, OMG, I could never do that, don't compare yourself to me. I have spent many, many years turning my brain off and just typing away and fixing it later. Your pace is your pace, and your pace is awesome, and every word you get down on paper is a word that you didn't have before, and that's the most important thing. It's not a competition in any way, shape, or form. It's all about just the passion and getting it in. 179 is something. It absolutely is. It absolutely is. 100%. Solid word counts, my friends. I am going to pop AFK. I'm going to leave you with cute Domarin for a second here, and I will be back in about 2 minutes. If you've been sitting down for a while, get up, stretch, walk around, grab yourself something to drink. And if you, like me, need to take medications, make sure you took your meds today. And I'll see you in a minute. I am back. I just need a moment to resume the octopus hat. Hey, Megalodork. Sorry, I was heading to break when you first said hey, and I'm glad I was able to remind you to take your meds. I specifically bought a pill organizer with different days of the week, and I just leave the compartment open when I've taken it, because I can't tell you the number of times throughout the day that I glance over and I'm like, did I remember to take my medication? And most of the time I'm pretty good. There's only one time that I like ultra forgot to take it, and I had to rush eat a snack because I have to take mine with food. Otherwise it can make me a bit nauseous. So yeah, so since I started taking those, I try to always remind people just in case, because sometimes it's shockingly hard to remember to take your medication. Let me just get the octopus back on here and fix the tentacles. Hang on. There we go. And then the tentacles. This one doesn't like to stay wound as much. There we go. There we go. Nice. I blame the ADHD, but for some reason I forget to take it. I have the worst short-term memory. I mean, it is hard to remember to take medication with everything else going on in our lives, so do not be too hard on yourself. I know, right? I love this hat so much. I forgot for a whole month once, and I was wondering why my anxiety was so bad. Oh no, Megalodork, I'm so sorry. Yeah, I do try to, when I do my breaks, I try to remember to remind people to eat, to drink, to move, and if you need to take your meds. Very, very important. We gotta take care of these fleshy meat sacks that we live in if we want to accomplish things. And they don't come with a user manual either, so they can be hard. All right, we are going to start our second sprint here in a moment. Just gotta have a sip of the coffee. I'm running on slow time this week because I am feeling a bit, not like sick, but just not like quite 100%. So, I remember I said on stream yesterday that I had definitely had a moment where I was laying in bed and I just didn't want to get out from under the covers. And it was the same this morning. I was like, I know that it's warm under my covers and it's going to be cold not under them. So it took an extra minute to get up and around this morning, but not quite as bad as yesterday. The reason I was late to stream this morning was because Discord apparently didn't want to share my link properly. I don't know what happened with that, but we got there eventually. I guess it's not a big deal if it doesn't show the picture, but I feel like people won't like pay attention to it if it doesn't show the stream like preview image. I don't know. The easy one is my shot I take every 3 months. Nice. It's nice. Yeah, it's nice when you don't have to worry about taking it every day. My apologies if that came through on the microphone. We have tenants downstairs and sometimes they get excited. All right. Now I have a plan for this scene. I can't say too much about it because obviously spoilers, but basically something is going to interrupt the current scene and sort of change what's happening, and I'm just trying to decide if now is the right time to do that or if I should wait a little while longer. But I think I've covered the important things Might have like one or two more moments of internal dialogue here and then switch things up. Oh, right. I missed your question before. Sorry about that, Hargemino. I basically, brain dumping is essentially how I write. I do write down things out of context, like in notebooks and my day planner and that kind of thing. But basically my method of just writing is to just whatever information is in my head about that particular scene or that particular moment, I just dump it all on the page and then I come back during edits and fix it up. So my first drafts, I don't want to say they're like word salad because I don't quite think they're that bad, but they are not organized in any way because I just generally save that for later. So if you guys are wondering, like, one of the reasons why I type so fast is because I'm basically that's basically what I'm doing, is just word vomiting the story. So yeah, I think I do probably do that. Man walks in with a gun, my favorite scene change. It's not quite that, but it is something happens. Something big happens. I brain dump in writing streams. Yeah, it's basically my writing method. It's what works for me. So, sorry, I'm just trying to make sure. I'm just trying to make sure that the hat is like, I feel like it's tilting to one side. There we go. It's like, I feel like it's tilting, but the thing is mirrored for me, and I just, you know, I just want it to look good for you guys. All right, let's do sprint number 2. Hey, I am sure that I have spoken spoilers on stream too, which is why I don't put all of my VODs on YouTube for that very reason. All right, 20 minutes of clicky clacking. Also, it's leaning against my headphones and it's making a squeaking sound, which I don't appreciate. It wasn't doing that before. Stop with your squeaking. What the heck? I feel so bad for this character. I have yet to give her a name. She's obviously important enough that she's going to need one. But right now, she's just being referred to by her, like, position because... her job position, because I've been too lazy to give her a name. And she's, like, Damarin's second in command, so I just keep referring to her as Damarin's second, and it makes me feel really bad. But she'll get a name in the next draft of the story. I'm too lazy to do it now. Yeah, that's it. She's Damarin's number 2. So... But I feel bad that I consistently refer to her as that. But I promise by the time readers see this, she'll have a name. They'll never know that I referred to her that for an entire draft. Oh, I had it fixed so it wasn't squeaking, and now it's squeaking again. This hardly... I just had someone say, I must protest, and then as the dialogue tag, she protested. You think? You think that's what she did? Maybe a little bit. Alright. Sorry I was so fidgety during that. I don't know why. The headphone situation is not as favorable as it was before. Just the squeaking sound is distracting, but I still managed to write a decent amount of words. So I stopped there. 1,104. Perfect. That brings us to 2,314 for the stream, and I will definitely be able to finish this scene in the next sprint, which is perfect. So far, everything is going the way I want it to go, which is also nice. I had a dream about my characters, and the dream makes me want to add unique dream powers. That would be awesome. I agree that dreams are super fun to write. Anything that involves sort of getting to play around with reality, change the rules of physics a little bit. Anything like that is super fun to write, because you can do things that you can't necessarily do in the waking world. So I really like playing around with that kind of stuff. Oh, why this particular tentacle doesn't want to stay curly today. There we go. It was the perfect dream. It tied in the spirit realm. It's hard for me to explain. No worries. I mean, as long as you understand, as long as you understand it enough to, like, put it in your story, that's the most important thing. Sometimes dreams are really intricate and detailed, and sometimes they're just short and silly. I had a dream that I was, like, essentially serving as a real estate agent for, like, monsters. They wanted to buy houses. And I was helping make that happen, apparently. Have you seen how bats fly around in that circular motion? Yeah. Yeah. Sorry, it's... when I move my head, my headphones are, like, rubbing against the hat and squeaking, and it's driving me bonkers. I'm just gonna take a quick little breather here, and then we'll get started on the next sprint. Are you saying the bats are finding the right family to haunt? Someone has to do it. Yeah, someone has to decide which families get haunted. That's how gravity works in my story. The spirits fly around the globe, which keeps the living out. Oh, interesting. That's a cool idea. That's kind of like, this is me gonna be super nerdy for a minute here. In Lord of the Rings lore, in the Silmarillion, it gets explained that, first of all, like, for the first, like, half, at least, of Middle-earth's history, there was no sun and moon. There were just the trees in the Undying Lands. The tree that shined during the day and the tree that shined during the night. And the light from the trees did not reach Middle-earth. It was only in the Undying Lands. And then, you know, the Dark God sent the Spider Queen to suck all the life out of the trees, and there was no light at all because there's still just starlight. And then the goddess who created the trees coaxed one last blooming leaf from each the sun tree and the moon tree, and they put those leaves into little spheres and gave them to sprites to carry through the sky. And that was how the sun and the moon came to be. That is what the sun and the moon are in Middle-earth, are leaves from these trees. And the reason why the moon's orbit is more erratic than the sun is because the sprite that carries the moon leaf is quite taken by the sprite that carries the sun leaf, and he chases her through the sky. And that's why the sun is consistent, but the moon is not. And that's like the lore. That's like the mythology behind why the sun and moon work the way they do in Middle Earth. I always thought that was cool. And I did like in Rings of Power that they did show the trees. They showed them very briefly in sort of like the prologue portion of the show. So that was a cool little bit of lore that I thought they did well with. So yeah. Super nerdy there for a moment. Alright, I'm lounging a bit. Let me fix my posture, sit back up, and we'll finish this here scene. I actually have to just push the hat forward a bit because I think it's pulling down on my head a bit. And I will put 20 more minutes on the clock. And we'll do some more. I have to lean over to see my stuff on this screen so that I won't disturb the hat. Interesting. The moon is basically hell where people go to be away from the light? Interesting. Bird of Inferno, hello. How's it going? Might have to do some research experiments with the light. This whole chapter has weird lighting, and I'm not sure what all would be visible in those conditions. Ah, interesting. That's a good idea to just kind of do it for yourself and see. I've certainly gotten up and acted out like fight choreography a few times to make sure that it would look the way that I want it to look. I'm doing pretty good, Bird of Inferno. Troubleshooting some Stardew Valley mods you installed last night. I hope you got them working. I'm doing pretty good. We are getting pretty far in this scene here. I'm wearing this fabulous hat that was made by a friend of the stream, which I am super excited about. How are you doing, Bird of Inferno? That is that scene done, and since we have a little bit of time left on the timer, I will just see if I can get a couple of sentences into the next scene. Enjoy your lurk, exiled fae. Oh no, the mods aren't working. I hope you can get them working, Bird of Inferno. I don't know much about Stardew mods myself. I've never installed them, just been in other people's games who've installed them. But I hope it starts cooperating for you. Alright, just got a couple of words into this next scene, but that is okay. So 267 there. Let's see, for the whole sprint, where did I start? So I started there. So 1,061 words total for that sprint. The first scene rings in at 3,106 words. Perfect. And now we are 267 into the new scene. So I'm probably gonna do one more sprint and maybe a tiny bit extra. I'm not gonna finish this whole scene this morning. I'll probably try to get about halfway and then quit for lunch. Peter, hello, how's it going? I'm here to say you're the rockinest octopus in the USA. I'm not actually in the USA, but I appreciate that. Peter, I'm sure if I was in the USA, I would be the rockinest octopus. Got it. I think it was just an installation error. I'm glad it was an easy fix, Bird of Inferno. I know that mod-related things can get complicated depending on how many you've got going on. Could you maybe write another 8 words just so we can have 1,069 nice words? That was just for that sprint, Peter. We've written quite a bit more than that. Very sleepy, but okay. The octopus is from America. This is the octopus hat. You know about the octopus hat because you were there for some of the streams that was being worked on. This is the octopus hat that Woof was making on Flutter's channel. This particular tentacle seems to be persnickety today, but yeah, it's finished and it's here. It arrived yesterday, and today we're doing the octopus thing. I know, right? It's so cool. I of course sent Woof a picture yesterday, so he would know that I came safe and sound. But since I was feeling decent today, I was like, I want to do a stream with the octopus hat and feature the octopus hat. It's gonna become a channel redeem. It's gonna be something that you can spend your points on. The moon is my version of Loki. He's an illusionist, so he cloaks himself as his dad and does stuff to his mom because he's gross. Wowee. Shockingly common for gods to do that kind of stuff in actual mythology. The lengths that Zeus goes to in Greek mythology to be with someone is, I'm gonna say, excessive. So yeah, it's you know, sometimes you think actual mythology wouldn't go that far, but oh, it does. It does. So it's funny. It's funny whenever I'm hanging out in my good friend Jay Chili's streams. He is also a writer, although he doesn't usually write on Twitch. I think he's planning to do some writing streams this year. But he does not have as extensive knowledge of mythology as I do. So whenever I go into his chat and talk about mythology, he gets really weirded out. Zeus was a kinky boy. Very much so. My lurk didn't last long. I think I just needed to intend to lurk to get my brain to unclench. Hey, whatever works to get your brain doing what you want it to do, Exiled Fae. So, yeah. It's just fun to talk about mythology and have people who haven't, you know, obsessively read about it like me, be like, excuse me, what? Like I was telling him, he was asking about, the Hades in, the Disney movie Hercules, and how he compares to actual Hades, like, from mythology. And I was saying that they're not at all similar, really. Disney needed a villain for Hercules, and they decided to use Hades as the villain. But Hades isn't really... Hades is just kind of quiet and nerdy and unassuming most of the time in Greek mythology. If you really want, like, the jerks of Greek mythology, it's pretty much, I would say, the biggest ones, aside from Zeus, who there's a whole sort of drama there, but pretty much Aphrodite and Ares. Ares is a massive jerk. Interestingly enough, Mars, the Roman version of the war god, is much tamer and much more sort of serene and less of a dick than Ares, which I find to be very interesting. But Aphrodite, stone cold's bitch with a capital B. Like, she blinded a guy for seeing her naked accidentally. And there was a guy who spurned her, so she straight up made him fall in love with his stepmother. Because she was a stone cold B. Life be hard for the kinky boys. True dat, Peter, true dat. Fenrir was a good boy. Those gods screwed him over for no reason. True, I always did feel kind of bad for most of Loki's children. Sleipnir apparently everybody loved, but, you know, I did always kind of feel bad for Loki's children because they had monstrous appearances. They were just sort of assumed to be evil before they even did anything bad. But Norse mythology is pretty hardcore too, so... Any mythology is messed up, that's why I'm trying to make my mythology messed up? Yeah, totally. I mean, I've made my own mythologies before, and same thing. Like, you know, the gods live forever. They get a little messed up at some point in the process, right? Yeah, it was really interesting. It was really interesting because Aphrodite was one of the characters that I chose to include in Eternity's Empire. And she was one of the most interesting characters to write because very early on in her story, it is established one of the myths. I basically, if you haven't read any of my Eternity's Empire, it's kind of like a mishmash of mythological tales sort of put together into a sci-fi fantasy story, right? And so I drew heavy inspiration from myths. I didn't necessarily always stay true to the exact mythological telling of the story, but I definitely drew inspiration from them. And one of the myths that I used was the myth of Adonis, which is an Aphrodite myth. tragic tale of, of love, kind of unrequited. Essentially, Aphrodite fell in love with Adonis, and Adonis was murdered by a boar because he was a mortal. And it is said that there's a specific type of flower that was born from Aphrodite's tears mixing with Adonis's blood as she held him as he died. And so very early on, I established my character of Aphrodite as sort of this heartbroken, vengeful person because she had this dark past. And it was very interesting how my readers reacted to her presence in the story and her somewhat spoiled nature at the beginning of the tale. And of course, one of the challenges was to take this character who has suffered in these ways and done these bad things and eventually make her a sympathetic character, make her a different person over the course of the series. It was very, very fun to write that. And because my favorite mythological ship is Aphrodite and Ares, I had to get Ares in on the mix there too, so he ends up being a character eventually. Technically, in mythology, Aphrodite was married to Hephaestus. She was kind of forced to marry him because Zeus was like, y'all are fighting over Aphrodite too much, so she's gonna marry that guy. But that didn't stop her from having many, many lovers. So I went a bit of a different route with my Aphrodite, and it was very fun and interesting. Loki and his children, House Kai, Carl Kai, Padlock Kai, and his favorite card Kai. Loki's children were Hel, the queen of Hell, half dead on one side. Fenrir, the great wolf. I always forget the name of the serpent. Jormungandr, the serpent. And Sleipnir, who he actually gave birth to because Loki shapeshifted into the form of a mare to seduce a magical horse to prevent a wall from being built because the gods didn't want to pay for it. And he got pregnant and gave birth to the 8-legged horse Sleipnir, which became Odin's mount. Interestingly enough. So Loki, both mother and father, all of his children quite unique in some fashion. I think he did also potentially have more children that aren't featured heavily in the main myths. Odin offered to babysit, literally. Indeed. Loki is actually... You guys are making me want to write. I mean, that is kind of what we're here for. Bird of Inferno. So, mission accomplished. Well, Odin's horse is Sleipnir, which is Odin's baby. I assume he didn't sit on Sleipnir until Sleipnir was grown, but Loki is actually one of my favorite gods across all of the mythologies. I think in our modern society, again, in our modern society, we don't really understand trickster gods. I've talked about this a lot before. I'm not going to talk too much longer because I need to get another sprint in here. But we don't really understand the concept of trickster gods as they existed in ancient times. It's the same with Set in Egyptian mythology. In modern day, tricksters often get recast as villains. They often get recast as evil, such as in the Marvel Universe, Loki is evil. Loki is a trickster. Loki just wants power, blah, blah, blah. They've sort of started to change his image a little bit, but, Loki is evil. It was the same in the Gods of Egypt movie, which was a horrible movie for many reasons. But, Set was the villain. Set was the bad guy because he's a trickster god. Tricksters are evil. But in ancient mythology, tricksters weren't necessarily good or bad. They did things on whim. They're sort of hedonists. They just kind of do stuff because they think it's funny or because they think it will make people laugh. And when it does make people laugh, then everybody appreciates tricksters. Like when Skadi came to kill Odin because Odin killed her father, and instead Loki turned into a goat and tied his beard to his testicles and tugged on them and made her laugh. But sometimes when a trickster god does something, it completely wiped that movie from my memory. Sorry. Shugras, hello, how are you? What is up? Tricksters aren't evil. They're equal opportunity assholes. That is absolutely correct, Shugras. That is absolutely correct, and that's why I like tricksters so much. Maybe I too am a trickster god? It's entirely possible, Peter. Unlock your inner trickster. But yeah, basically when a trickster god takes it too far, then they become not so great. This is the case with was it Balder? Basically there's a Norse myth about I think it's Balder, Freya and Odin's child. And Freya basically asked all of the plants to not hurt him, but she forgot to ask the mistletoe. She just forgot about mistletoe existing. And so mistletoe did not make a promise to not hurt Balder. And so one day Loki was like, hey, I've got an idea. You can't be hurt by anything. Let's throw a bunch of stuff at you. And threw a spear of mistletoe at him and promptly murdered him. At which point the gods were like, you took it a bit far. You maybe need to rein it in. Punishment. So, you know, it's not that trickster gods are necessarily evil. It's just that sometimes they're like, oh, won't this be funny? And then someone loses an eye or their life. And they're like, okay, you know what? Maybe we don't do that next time. The mistletoe incident. Exactly. I think it was Balder. It's the Norse gods get difficult to keep track of, but I think it was Balder. A lot of trickster tales are about humbling the proud. Exactly. Sometimes it's, you know, a trickster does something and it's just funny and it's just for a laugh. And sometimes it's about, oh, they were prideful and they learned maybe I shouldn't do that. Shagraz, I'm more of a demigod. We don't talk about the mistletoe incident. At my age, it's getting harder and harder to become a full god. Sometimes I read my writing and I'm like, I'm a master, and other times, like now, I'm like, this is trash. What am I even doing? Bird of Inferno, that is perfectly normal. I have that happen sometimes in the same scene, where I'm like, this was great, and then 7 sentences later, I'm like, who wrote this hot flaming pile of garbage? It's okay because people will never see the bad part. You'll clean it up and fix it up nice, and people will only see it when it looks good. My trickster god was good and like a jester who did things to entertain, but his lustful eyes made him evil. Sometimes we just don't understand the rules. Everyone did love Balder. That's the thing, is Balder was like the golden boy. And he was like the god of light, and everybody was like, Balder is the sweetheart. In fairness to the rest of the gods, it did kind of start the apocalypse when Balder died, so I can see why they were maybe a little bit upset at Loki for basically starting Ragnarok. But yeah, I don't think Loki was like, let's get Balder killed. He was just like, won't it be funny to throw this thing at him? And then he ended up dead. They don't love him anymore. He's dead, gone, finito. Except Woof, he'll find a way. I already shared this with the stipulation that it's the first draft, and I'm just like, everyone was lying when they said they liked this. I mean, I'm sure they weren't lying. I'm sure they just didn't see the, like, it's really easy for us to see the flaws in our work. I think that, like, my beta readers never see the things that I think are bad. They're always like, this is great. This part that you're specifically worried about, it's great. So I don't necessarily think that they were. I don't necessarily think you think they were lying either, but they definitely probably weren't lying. It's probably more your brain is like, I just don't see the good bits. I only see the bad bits, which our brains do, and it sucks because it makes writing that much harder. As an enthusiast, do you get annoyed when you see properties like MCU doing what they're doing to these characters? No, I don't. I don't take offense to an interpretation like the MCU popularizing stuff that isn't necessarily from the myths. I think that taking inspiration from mythology, it's a pretty open door, right? And I think that it's really easy to differentiate the MCU characters from the mythological characters. I don't have a problem with them. Like, and I don't have a problem with Hades in the Disney movie being different from Hades. Like, they made Hera very soft and gentle in the Hades movie as well, and she is not that in actual mythology. So I don't really have an issue. I would have an issue with it if they said this was accurate to mythology, because it's not. But I don't think that they are trying to say we are recasting mythology. I think they're just taking inspiration for their characters from it. And I don't have any issue with that. I think that it's unfortunate that modern people have sort of forgotten how to actually interpret a trickster god and what trickster gods actually are, because I do think we lose something in not really understanding that aspect of humanity, because that's essentially what mythological gods are different aspects of humanity. But I don't necessarily have an issue with, Loki being a villain sometimes or Hades being a villain sometimes. It's just different. It's just different. It's not even necessarily different interpretations of the story. It's just casting that character in a particular role. Disney calling him Hercules still pisses me off, since it's not technically pronounced correctly. Give me more mythological portrayals, please, and thank you, Shagraz. You should read my Eternity's Empire series if you haven't already. I don't, because mythology was all really oral in the beginning, so there's all these different versions. That's true. There are a million different versions of mythological stories too. And that's the thing is, no, don't be sorry. This is a great conversation. And really, because there were so many different versions of the oral myths before they were written down, like, mythology actually contradicts itself quite a lot too. A lot of the times one local place will have a very tame, very loving version of a god or goddess, and another place might have a very brutal version of that god or goddess, and so they get amalgamated together. And they start to have different faces, right? And so originally, they may have all been separate characters, but they sort of get compounded and compounded and compounded together. And so you have all these different versions of a story. And I think the fun thing about telling a mythological story is you get to pick which version of that character you use. You get to pick which version of the story you're gonna tell, right? And that's what's cool about mythology. I mean, he's Heracles in Greek myth, but everyone calls him Hercules. That's the Roman version. Don't mix up versions. That's like calling Poseidon Neptune or Apollo Apollo. That's fair, Shagraz. They do call him Hercules instead of Heracles. I think that's a very common... They did that in Xena, too. They called him Hercules. Also, honey, I think you mean Huncules. I'm very much aware that I'm sick and my brain is being mean. Oh, Bird of Inferno, I'm sorry to hear that. It's useful it's useful to edit sometimes when I'm particularly critical, as long as I don't let it get me down. That is very true. The more analytical your brain is, the easier it is to do some of those edits. And we're here to tell you that you're doing a good job. So don't let it stress you out. Somebody made an important point about mythology when Twilight came out and people were mad about it not respecting the mythology of vampires, and this person was like, yeah, how dare they say this about something that isn't real? Yeah, exactly. It's all made up anyway. is Hercules if you watch Nutty Professor 2. Flanny, hello, hello, how's it going? Who's Rob and why are you mad at him? He owes me money. Alright, I am gonna take a quick 2-minute break here. I just need to use the restroom. And then we will come back and get the hat resituated. I'll take it off for just, I don't know if you guys have seen it when I'm putting it on. But it's very fabulous. Many tentacles. Very happy with it. Gonna give him the old razzle dazzle. And yeah, and then we will do another sprint, hopefully the final sprint, and get me where I'd like to be with this next scene. And then I'm gonna go off and eat some lunch. I would say, honestly, I think any name can be associated with any gender if you want it to be. So if you want Luna to be a male name, I wouldn't see why not. I mean, gods have very different personalities depending on the situation, and I love seeing people take on aspects of that and kind of turn it up to 100, and this is the version we're seeing. I find it fascinating that there are so many different takes on gods, and they all kind of make sense. Absolutely, Shagraz. I'm 100% with you. That's what I like about different mythological interpretations, too, is which elements did people choose to emphasize, and why, and what are they doing with that? I think that's so cool. Wolf did an amazing job with the hat. He absolutely did. I think he's probably gone back to work now. He was on lunch earlier, but definitely drop in the Discord and let him know what you think of the hat. All right. You guys keep at it. I will be back in 3 minutes. If you haven't for a while, remember to get up, stretch, move around, grab something to drink, take your meds, and I will be I'm back. Bird of Inferno, you're welcome for reminding you about your meds. That is why I like to do it. I have forgotten to take my own before. I know what it can be like when you've got a million things going on and you got one more to remember. So, absolutely. Thank you, Peter, for the welcome back. Also, lightning element is pretty darn cool. I see Shugraz likes fire and lightning, a man after my own heart. I am fond of both of those as well. Where are my headphones? There they are. Serious question. If you could be an elemental mage, fire hands down. I am a fire person. Fire is my number one. Fire is where I would go 100%. A sandwich mage. That sounds amazing, actually. I'd get behind that. A soup mage. Man, I know where to go for lunch. Peter and Flanny will keep me fed. Flanny, by the way, how are you? What is up? How are you doing? Thanks again for the raid yesterday. Footlong pizza subs for all. Oh, Flanny, you're speaking my language. I will, of course, need that with lactose-free cheese, but as a mage, I am sure that would not be a problem. Hang on, I gotta recurl these tentacles here. Get them all curly Q. There we go. I'll speak to my lactomancer. Thanks. Appreciate. Yeah, if I had to pick a primary element, fire hands down. I'm a fire. I'm born under an air sign, ironically, but 100% a fire person. Fire is my go-to element. 100%. Lightning is cool. It would definitely be my second choice, but fire 100%. Yeah, light would count as an element for sure. I think so. I always include light and darkness, and sometimes spirit even as an element. At my writing group tonight, we had to write about how we'd survive on a desert island, and I wrote a story that I'd only survive as long as the snacks and the bodies of other passengers lasted. Well, that went dark real fast, and if I'm not rescued by then, I'd set myself on fire, run into the jungle, and watch the whole world burn. Interesting, Peter. I also realized I'd cry a lot and crap myself with fear in the dark because of monsters. I mean, it was your story. There didn't have to be monsters on the island. But I feel like I would cry a lot too. All right. I'm gonna turn on the clicky clacky timer. This will probably be our last sprint of the afternoon because then I gotta go get some lunch. All this talk about foot-long pizza subs making me hungry, yous guys. I got some tuna and egg salad. Oh, is that what this has been, Shagraz? You're trying to distract me from writing more. Is that why the questions and the mythological tangent? I see how it is. I wanted to talk about elements. Well, okay. Fire is nice. I like it. It's hot and it burns things. I'm realistic. If there's one thing that I, as a 36-year-old grown man, have realized, it's that monsters live in the dark and are always looking for my toes. I can get behind that. Oh, Flanny prefers the element of surprise. That doesn't actually surprise me. I actually do sleep with my blanket tucked under my feet, but not for safety, for comfort. You have a cat so that if the monsters want to eat something, they'll eat her first? Peter? Not so that she'll protect you? Comf, oh my goodness! Thank you so much for the raid! Welcome in! If you are not following Comf. Oh, thank you, Flanny, for the shout out. If you're not following Comf, please head over and check them out. Super comfy, cozy streamer. Does a lot of productivity streams as well as games. Always happy to hang out. I lurk there while I work a lot. No worries. I understand, Comf. When you finish up a stream, you gotta go take care of some things. Welcome in, everyone. Baby Squid Queen of Hell. Hello, hello. Dupe SSB. Hello, welcome in. How are you all doing today? I'm gonna be a little quiet because I am doing a productivity sprint at the moment, but please feel free to chat among yourselves and I will catch up as soon as I'm able to. Thank you so much, Baby Squid Queen of Hell, for the follow. And Dupe, thank you as well for the follow. Appreciate. How are you, my friends? Just lurking, finishing up my rest, trying to wake up. Not so bumpy. Thank you for the good luck, and I hope you have good luck waking up. I'm not a morning person. I understand it takes some time to shake it all off and get with the program. We quite obviously like tentacle creatures here, so you're in good company, Baby Squid Queen of Hell. I have been doing particularly bad with mornings this week, so I get it. Attempting to get work done, but today is a struggle day. I hope that you're able to get through the things you need to get through, but also that you're able to get some rest. Not every day is the best day or a high energy day, so I hope that you're able to take care of yourself when you need to. I certainly understand. I am having one of those weeks where energy is at premium, and sometimes you just gotta do what you can and forgive the rest. Hey, Cademon. Is my camera frozen? If it's frozen, I can refresh it. Or was I just staring very intently? Feel free to call me Squid. Will do. Yeah, I got this special hat from a friend of the stream, Woof. I seem to be very clothed. Oh, am I freezing like in real life? Yes. Yes, I am quite cold without the blanket and the hand socks. So I thought you meant, is my camera freezing? No, yes, it's very cold here. That is why I am very winter attired. It is cold. There is heating in the house, obviously, but I like the comfort. It is winter in Canada, that is true. But I'm comfy cozy with my blanket and my hand socks and my squid hat, my octopus hat. It is technically an octopus, not a squid. It's got 8 tentacles. I assume it's got 8 tentacles. Middle of summer here. Ah, are you in the southern hemisphere, Squid? Made the mistake of wearing a sweater today because my office has been super cold this week, but today it's hot. Oh no. Oh, close to New Zealand. Nice. We have some friends who moved here from New Zealand and they always speak very highly of it. Although one of the reasons they moved here was because they wanted to buy a house and they just could not get into the housing market in New Zealand. So they moved here and bought a house actually down the street from us, which is pretty cool. But they went home for Christmas and posted a bunch of pictures. Micah, hello! Welcome in! Thank you so much for the raid! I feel like I haven't talked to you in forever. What is it, my friend? Lyora writes, hello. Welcome in. How's it going? Cornflower raid, coneflower brigade. Coneflower. I said cornflower, didn't I? It has been a while. I'm doing pretty good. How are you? Bard, hello. Thank you so much for those bits. Gotta go grab food and then I'll be around while I work. I am gonna be wrapping up soon, unfortunately, because I too need work. But I shall be around on Discord if you want to hang out this afternoon and just be around each other. Made some notes after rereading the first two scenes. I think that'll be all for me today, writing-wise. Hey, that is some work accomplished. Any progress is progress. Can I request a special raid target for one of our community members who's streaming and it's their birthday? Who is it, might I ask? Flanny? Bard, it is totally fine. I know you're super busy. Just know that if you ever want to, like, mutually just be near each other on Discord, it's always open. And what is Metal Gear Kirby up to today? I usually favor writing streamers from writing streams, but what is Metal Gear Kirby up to today? If it's a special day, special raid. Just started up recording the second episode of my podcast. No worries. I still need to sign up for a day for that. I'm just trying to figure out what day is best in my calendar. I'm excited. I'm excited to be part of Bart's podcast. Oops. That is the Discord if you would like to join. Yes, Woof made this. Woof made this hat from scratch with yarn and tenacity and a pattern. But isn't it amazing? I did stop mid-sentence here. I'm just going to, because I did talk through a significant amount of that sprint, I'm just going to carry on here for a minute or two and then we'll wrap up. Tropical climates are better for me with joint problems. Oh, that makes sense. I hate cold and winter, but I've just kind of learned to deal with it because I've lived in temperate climate my whole life. But in my later years, I'm starting to not deal with heat well either. So, like, my ideal temperature is, like, spring, fall, where it's cool but not, like, cold. And warm but not hot. But unfortunately, I still have to deal with winter and summer, so... I just kind of assumed because we'd paused crafts that everyone else had stopped as well. It didn't occur to me that people were still crafting and Whiff would finish it. Yeah, no, I have been working on the cross stitches as well. We are hoping to resume the craft streams eventually. We're just kind of waiting. Flutter is getting used to her new job and her new schedule and all that, so we just haven't had a chance to basically figure out when we are going to resume doing the crafting streams, but it is in the plan. I don't know if Flutter has still been working on stuff off stream or not, but Woof and I have, so. I live in Scotland. We normally get about 3 to 6 days of proper heat, and then it fucks off for a year, but those days are nightmares. I remember when we lived in England and nothing had air conditioning because they just assumed it would only be hot for like a week, and it was like the hottest year, and I was like, I'm dying. I remember summer 2018 with fear only. I'm assuming the big same was Bard being excited about me coming on her show, maybe. I had to put some tomatoes in the oven, making roasted garlic herb tomatoes for Sammy's. That sounds amazing, comf. I'm so jelly. I have little to no immune system and connective tissue disorder, so cold weather is not good for me. Oh no, Squid, I'm sorry to hear that, but I'm glad that there is an environment that's good for you. Like, I'm glad that you found a place where you can live and be mostly comfortable. It's so important. I am, but that was in response to your spring fall. Oh yes, because of the temperature sensitivity. It's probably for the same reason, Bard. I know you have like the opposite thyroid problem of me, but it's probably for the same reason. Like if the temperature is fairly even, then our bodies are like, this is cool. And then if the temperature is like one extreme or the other, our bodies are like, this is not good. I don't know what to do with this. But yeah, Squid, I'm glad that you found a place that is comfortable for you. It's so important. I remember when we were in England, it was hard for Ghost Pepper because he has pretty bad asthma, and the moisture in the air just did not work out for him. But when we moved here, where it's much drier, his asthma doesn't bother him nearly as much. It's just this is what's comfortable for his lungs, right? It definitely the spicy thyroid that does it. Yeah, thyroids are apparently a pain in the butt, I'm learning. I think I'm just going to... I just had my characters walk into a corridor, and I think I want to describe that corridor before I stop, because otherwise I'm going to come back to this and be like, what did I intend to do with this corridor? And then we'll probably wrap up. My thyroid tried to kill me, so I killed it back. Flanny, I'm so sorry you had to deal with that. But I'm glad that you won the battle. And I appreciate that you have been talking me through my thyroid problems. So I am also... I do have an immune system. My immune system, unfortunately, has decided that my thyroid is a jerk and attacks it. So I am immunocompromised. I do stay in the house a lot. I don't go very many places. I still mask up everywhere I go. I'm very, very conscious of the fact that I'm high risk in this world that we live in right now. But I have a very supportive husband who helps out, makes sure that I don't have to take too many risks, does a lot of the running around for us, makes sure that if we're going to be hanging out with people, that they are people who are conscious of the risks and take care of themselves and aren't exposing me to potential COVID or other potential sicknesses, and I appreciate that. Dumb thyroid gang. Hashtag dumb thyroid gang. We should get shirts. Winter sucks for me here, but I'm lucky that I have the resources and support I need to function. I'm glad to hear that, Squid. It's, like I said, it's very important. And it makes a big difference if you have people that understand, right? Almost like there's some kind of flu or virus or something going around. We should get shirts. All right, what did I want this corridor to look like? that is where I'm gonna stop. So we are 1,470 words into the new scene. If we add that to our previous scene, I think that puts us up to 4,400? 4,576 words for the stream. Super happy with that. Especially given the slow mornings that I have had this week, just trying to get my brain into gear. I am very, very pleased with that. I have written enough that I think I will be able to orient myself on this scene again once I get back to it. I am conscious of where I'm leaving my characters. I won't come back and be like, what the heck did I intend to do with this? I think the boys downstairs are making garlic bread, and now I want garlic bread. Thank you, Bird of Inferno. I appreciate it. How does one bedazzle a shart? Eat glitter. Flanny is always ready with that excellent life advice. Don't actually eat non-food glitter. Thank you, Bard, for the reminder. That is true. You shouldn't eat things that you're not meant to eat. I think I've missed so much of the chat, so I do apologize for anything I missed. I'm just gonna do a quick little scroll up here and make sure that I didn't miss anything too important. Since our raids came in. Above 25C is problematic for me, then the warmth starts to feel unpleasant. One reason I never live in tropical countries. Okay, Mon, I'm sorry to hear that. But again, I hope you found, like, a temperature, a climate that is good for you. Mom prefers colder office, and since we share, I let her control the AC and make do with sweaters and a little under the desk heater. That's why I do, like, Ghost Pepper is pretty comfortable with it being chilling in the house, and I like blankets. So I just do the blanket, you know, sweater, hand sock thing, and this is comfortable for me. I might look like I'm freezing cold, and I guess I would be if I, like, took all the warm stuff off, but I am very comfortable. Also, Andy in Trouble, hello, hello. Sorry I missed saying hi to you. Bob Watkins, hello, hello. Sorry I missed saying hi. Hope you're doing well if you're still lurking. Cheery afternoon and happy time zone to all of you as well. I know I sometimes miss stuff when when there's a raid mid-sprint, so I do apologize for that. Oh, I want garlic bread so bad. Garlic bread. Bread is my kryptonite as well. Novasaurus Rex, hello! Let me say hey in the chat. Mr. Pepper naturally heats up whatever room he's in. He can't help it. Not entirely untrue, my friend. Not entirely untrue. Let me switch my headphones back to the computer so I can check on a raid. We have had a request for Metal Gear Kirby, whose birthday it is. So let me see what is going on over there. Can you type the name for me again, Flanny, because I think I got it wrong. I thought that was how I... Does it have to be capitalized? Is that what's screwing it up? Did I spell Kirby wrong? I did. LOL. That was me. That was 100% my fault. So this is a bit, usually if I'm doing productivity usually, blah, blah, blah. I'm gonna try that again because my tongue just decided midway through that it didn't want to words. Usually, when I'm doing productivity streams, I tend to raid into productivity streams and vice versa, but it appears that we have a birthday in our community, so we're gonna head over and say hey to a friend of our community, Metal Gear Kirby. He hangs out in my husband's streams a lot. Very good at puzzle games, way better than me and Ghost, apparently, who... I don't know if that particular section of escape room sim that we played on Saturday was just particularly hard, but it made me feel super dumb. But we're gonna head over there and say hey to him. Raids seem to be getting harder and harder to do, like it's so hard to do now. For me, it's always just hard to choose. There's so many awesome people online that I always just want to say hey to everybody and love everybody. And I want the audience too. If you guys are feeling productive and you want more comfy, cozy, lurky, productive places, I like to do that. But I also like to support the community, right? My stream started because the community supported me, so I like to give back to them as well. So if this is not your jam, I'd appreciate if you say hey to Metal Gear Kirby before you head somewhere else. There are tons of people in the writing community who are also around to hang out with. I see that Supernatural Writer is up. She is amazing. Sable Aradia is on as well. Estantia is around. Weirdwin is around. Perfect Base Prefect is around, and Satoru123. All amazing writers. All totally worth checking out. So if you are headed in that direction, totally understand. Absolutely. I know I went super fast, so I'm sure Bard wasn't able to keep up with all of those. But yeah, we're gonna go say hey to Metal Gear Kirby, wish them a happy birthday, and I'm gonna go get some lunch. Why am I getting so many ads though? I've been on this channel for like 2 minutes and I'm just in ads. I'm trying to let the ads play so that I can actually like see the streamer when I do the raid. All right. It's the only one that I already follow, so I didn't have a guess on the spelling. No worries. Kit, hello. Sorry to catch you at the end here, but I hope you're having a good day. I always want to stay longer at the end of my streams, but I gotta go eat. Bard beating me to some of those commands. Thank you, Comf, for the raid. I super appreciate it. I hope you enjoyed those sandwiches because they sound like they're gonna be fantastic. Please feel free to use any emotes that make you happy for the raid. It's all about spreading the love. Let's wish Metal Gear Kirby a happy birthday. I probably won't be around again this week, I'll be honest. I have some health stuff going on, so I might just kind of melt into the shadows until next week. To take rest and take care of myself when I need to. But keep an eye on the Discord. If I do feel up to a stream, I will let you guys know. I will definitely be back to 3 streams next week. I know last week was only 2 streams. I appreciate you guys being patient with me. I will be back next week with that Kryptonia short that I promised, and I'll talk a little bit about my homebrew D&D campaign and the lore behind the setting and some of the setup that I've made for that. So I'm really looking forward to that. And of course, I'll be around for more clicky clackies. So until then, please take care of yourselves. I will be hanging out on the Discord if anybody needs me / wants to chat. And take care of yourselves. Always take care of yourselves because you're awesome. And I really appreciate you all hanging out with me, making this an amazing day. I'll see you all again next week. Take care.